This is Howard at BigHBricklin.com. We're going to teach you how to put a front seal in your York compressor from a Bricklin. This compressor has been leaking. You can tell by the oil down here. We're going to take this apart. I'm going to use the tools that I use every day. You can use hand tools, no problem. Okay, step one. Take a 1/2-inch socket. Try to keep it on the tool. Zip off the bolt that's in the center of the pulley. Show me. Alright, now if you look closely in here, there are threads at the top. There's no special puller needed for this. You just get a big bolt. Here's our big bolt. Now, I would recommend doing this by hand the first time, but we're going to put it in forward, give it a tap with the impact, comes right off. Then we're going to remove my special tool, put it in the box with all the air conditioner special tools. Just because it's really not a special tool, it's going in the box with them anyway. We lift off the pulley, take a look at the underside. You want to make sure that bearing is not making any noise, so you spin the clutch, and this one's good. Alright, next we have to take off the clutch coil. Here we go. 7/16, 4 bolts all the way around. But before you go any farther, put a paint mark on the coil wire and on the compressor and on the wire, so you know which way it goes on and you won't mess that up and have to take it apart again. Keep your parts organized. The only thing we might want to do here is wipe that off a little. Ooh. That's been there a while. Put a little solvent on it, wipe it off. If you're doing a restoration, everything has to be perfectly clean. If you're just getting your car on the road, a wipe down is all you need. Alright, you can see clearly here where it's been leaking out. Right down here, going all over the place. This is about the only place that a Bricklin air conditioner leaks. And a lot of people are wasting money buying compressors, and they don't have to. Alright, now there's a keyway in here. We should remove that at this point before we take the plate off so it doesn't drop inside the compressor. I'm just going to give a little tap with a screwdriver and a hammer. There it went, on the floor. Do not lose this. This is a special looking little shape right here. Put it on the white bottle so you can see it. Now set that where I don't lose it. Now the next step, little 1/4-inch bolts, 6 of them. Now remember, this is an aluminum case. These are steel bolts. If you've ever worked on a motorcycle, you have to use an impact driver to get the galvanic corrosion freed up on each one of these bolts. Otherwise you snap them off. Now, I have snapped them off before. If one's missing, you're still okay. But if you break off 2 or more, you've got to extract them or jump the compressor. Now, in order to break the galvanic bond between the bolt and the aluminum case, give it a tap with a hammer. And they will come right out. Do not hit them too hard. Do not hit the shaft. Watch what you're doing. There we go. Now the plate's off. This is the carbon seal, and this is an O-ring that has to be replaced. And in our kit, our BigHBricklin kit, you get everything including a new plate for the seal to rub on. is we got a little bit of a wear mark on this one. Now, there is a spring-loaded part of this seal that's down inside here. You have to very carefully, it's not held in very hard, very carefully remove it. You got to get underneath the metal ring down here, way down here, and it'll come up. Sometimes it's a little tricky. Take your time, do not scratch the shaft. This is the junk part that we throw away. Alright, now wipe off the shaft just to make sure there's no dirt and debris on here. And if you got, let's look at this real closely. We got a little debris on there. We're going to take some solvent and a Scotch-Brite pad and clean that off. And solvent, Scotch-Brite pad. Really fine Scotch-Brite pad, by the way. Wear gloves. Alright. Very nice. Oh, I see a little bit of debris right here. Just dusty stuff. We're going to wipe that out. You can actually see the bearing down inside here. Now, we're going to open up our little kit. And if you have any doubts about your workbench, put a paper towel down. Razor blade will work. Don't cut the seal. It's Christmas. Okay, here we are. If you look at these two, there's two notches. And they fit together like this. Because this part spins, but this part seals. That's rubber. Then this part sits on the shaft and seals. So this will go down here. This will go on top. And then the other seal will be the highly machined polished surface. And this carbon seal will make the rest of the seal. And you'll be good for another 45 years. Oh, but this system has mineral oil in it. This stuff is really hard to find. But if you have to, you can use a small amount of synthetic mixed with it. Put this on the shaft. And then we need to put the oil all over this piece here where the carbon seal rides and inside the middle. Now we're ready to put this on. Whoop, careful. Get that back in there. That's our little rubber seal. Alright, so you have to be careful to push that down. There we go. Get that centered. I'm going to use the back side of the hook tool, not the hook, just to kind of push that in to make sure it's in place. Okay, now we have the carbon seal, and it fits on those two notches. Make sure they are lined up. We have our new plate. One thing we did kind of forget to do here is wipe off the surface where the plate bolts down to. Make sure there is nothing on there. All that will do is keep the seal from compressing completely. Don't want anything coming loose. But this rubber seal here is what makes the seal of the refrigerant. You put that in here with some oil. The oil will hold it in place. And you set it right here. Now, it is slightly spring-loaded, so you have to remember to tighten all these bolts evenly. You'll get it crooked, mess things up. You tighten them down slowly and evenly, but make sure before you tighten any of them that you have all 6 of them in the holes. We're going to do this by hand. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch socket driver. Takes a little bit of time, but the assembly is the critical part. There we go. It's flush. There. Now all the screws are nothing more than snug. Now we have to look at the shaft here. Take a look at the shaft. This plate is a little out of whack here. The shaft is not centered in the plate. So you have to take a hammer with those snug and just give it a tap so that that is centered and you're not hitting the plate. That looks pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to get a 1/4 inch ratchet and my 1/4 inch socket. Alright, so now we're going to just snug these, skip every other one. When you do 3, then only skip 1, and then skip every other one. Okay, now these are 1/4 inch. They're not much of a bolt, so don't get crazy here. No gorilla tightening. That's unnecessary. Just kind of, you can almost feel where the bolt is trying to start to stretch. You're done. Do not tighten it any more than that. There's just a few inch-pounds on those, and that is it. We're going to wipe out the tapered shaft just to make sure there's no junk in it. Alright, got to make sure we put that in. And you don't have to do anything but just give it a little teeny tap. That's it. Now we're going to flip this around. Doesn't hurt to clock it so it mates on there. There, that fits perfect, but we're not ready to put it on. We have to put the coil on. Let's find our marks. Where's our marks? Here it is, right here. There we go. Sure wouldn't want to have to extend the length of the wires or take this apart again. Alright, now back to the speed tools. Just get that snug, snug, snug. Then we're going to tighten it by hand. There we go. Nice. Okay. And like I said before, depending on your restoration level, you can pretty this up all you want. But keep in mind, you can't really see down there. Alright, I'm going to clock this. Get the little piece of fuzz out of there. Put this on. There we are. Then the bolt goes in. And then, if I can find my 1/2 inch socket. Once again, I'm just going to snug it with the air tool. There we go. And then I'm going to tighten it down. We have a problem here. Can't do it that way. Now, if you have trouble getting this off, you can loosen it before you take it off the car by turning on the air conditioner. That'll engage the clutch, and you can tighten it down. Otherwise, you have to use an impact to get it off. In this case, there we go. We're going to tighten it down with the impact too. But now it's ready to put on the car. Good for another 45 years.